Good news, everyone. I have returned. Anyway, Ron's doing another contest. That means more free content for me. Anyway, much like the last video, this was done way before Ron's video came out, so I have no idea if I'm in it. Anyway, it's just being posted at the same time because, you know, the algorithm. Well, time to get into this. Let's start with Bruntame, which I'm assuming is Bramble, Brunt, and Untamed. It could just be Brunt and Untamed, but like, I'm throwing Bramble in there because why not? Also, Ronnie boy Ronathan. Level with me for a second here. Please just say this was inspired by Bowser or Bowser Jr. Even if it wasn't intentional, just say it was. It's just easier on everyone and no one's gonna believe you if you say you didn't take inspiration. At least just mention it. Say it was accidental if it was, but just like, please, it's better, it'll help you in the long run. Anyway, considering it looks like Bowser, even if it wasn't intentional, I'm running with it. Once again, don't give me an inch, I will take a yard. So Bowser's whole thing is that he's obsessed with Peach. I mean, look, I love Peaches as much as the next man, but even I have to admit that's a little much. And, you know, it's very much a toxic relationship because he kidnaps her every chance he gets. It's a toxic relationship for someone, because apparently Mario and her aren't dating at this point, so, I mean, maybe Bowser Jr. was right to call her mama. But, okay, toxic relationship. We don't really have a Mon that represents that yet. We have Love Disc for, you know, healthy love. But, we don't have something that's painful love. Heartbreak. A toxic relationship. So, something that represents love, but also pain. Thankfully. Every rose has its thorns. But yeah, it's roses. Like, come on. They represent love, you know, you see them all the time in media, but they also have thorns. Poisonous thorns, if I remember correctly. But it's not like lethal poison, it's just the poison that hurts a lot. I think that's the case. I could be wrong. Anyway, don't touch rose bushes. Just, unless you're familiar with it, don't touch it. I mean, the middle stage here was actually the last I designed, because, you know, first stage, final stage, I just gotta bridge that, and this is kind of that case. There's also a bit of a bull inspiration here, mainly because of the term bull-headed, which, you know, stupidly stubborn, kind of fits Bowser perfectly, especially in regards to Peach. I added some more red for, you know, color diversity, made the rim of the shell? I don't know exactly what's that called. Anyway, I made that more of a pink-ish, because, you know, love. And I made the hair elements look more like a flower about to bloom, because, well, rose is a flower. It honestly works pretty well in my opinion. Rose Soul, the Rosebud Pokémon, a grass dragon type. Honestly, I'm just really pleased with this design. I mean, it came out a lot better than I thought it would, so I gotta give it credit there. Now, let's evolve it. Continuing with the bull portion, Blue Hemoth becomes a semi-quadruped. You know, like how bears can walk on 4 legs, but can also rear up onto 2. It's kind of the same situation here. It prefers to walk on all 4s, but when it has to, it can get up on 2. I really only did that to convey how bulky it is. You know, it became larger, and well, that's the obvious thing when evolving a Pokemon, just make it larger. Considering the obvious Bowser Jr. look, I literally just said, you know what? Video games. So it now looks similar to a Monster Hunter boss. And the thing is, these are older franchises that are still getting updated. Monster Hunter Wilds is the most recent one, I think. And then Mario is just getting constantly updated, so, you know. They're old games that keep getting updates, and that's important later. It also has a big old monsterish appearance, and that's meant to represent a more masculine build. Once again, that'll kind of be explained later. I can't really say much until the other part of the duo is presented. I really do enjoy how it came together, though, because honestly, it's a chance for me to nerd out. I obviously have to represent the name after all. If you get that reference, we're getting soft tacos later. Blue Hemoth, from Bloom and Behemoth, the Hurting Heart Pokemon, a grass dragon type. I'm quite pleased with this design, and its synergy with the other line is simply gorgeous, but of course you don't know that yet, because, you know, you haven't seen it. Moving on to the next line. Trilobrite. A bright trilobite that looks like a UFO stealth bomber. Trilobites are dead. They're extinct. Fossil record. You know, they're not here anymore. So is this potentially a reference to dinosaurs didn't go extinct, they just like are in space? Because believe it or not, that's something I've heard. Anyway, why is it important that trilobites are dead? Well, they're index fossils. Basically, it means they're very useful at identifying geological periods. You know, essentially, when you find a trilobite fossil, it makes it easier to tell when that layer was fossilized. Was it Cretaceous, Jurassic? What's the other one? Cretaceous. That's it. Yep. But, okay, a bright trilobite. Okay, obviously, I have to take the trilobite aspect somewhere. Screw it, there's plenty of bugs. Big centipedes, that's something I remember. Let's just go with that. Oh wait, no, the centipede also does play into something else, actually. The game centipede. If I understood the game completely, it was basically Snake, but like a centipede. And making a trilobite literally come out of its shell, I feel that's a pretty decent thing. Do I think it would be the best? Probably not. Do I enjoy it? Absolutely. However, I also took the UFO aspect and just made it a ship. You know how in, for instance, Star Wars, they have those big, long space carriers? Yeah, I basically just went that direction. It's a centipede, I gotta make it longer anyway. Also, fun fact, this was originally supposed to be a steel psychic type, because I wanted it to soar through the ozone and destroy debris that was coming at it, and add that to itself to make itself longer. Anyway. Rant aside, I can explain a lot more about this thing when it evolves, because, well, right now there's not much to it. Centiship, the space traveler Pokémon. Bug psychic type. Centiship often soars through the ozone, destroying debris. Oddly enough, Centiship is quite popular with women. Then remember when I mentioned that trilobites are index fossils, great at deciphering time periods? Well, what is long like a centipede? A timeline. And considering the plan was always to make it a psychic type, it's a timeline. It's quite literally just a timeline. Trilobites are integral to that, and now it's almost completely out of its shell. There's no more hiding for it. There's also a bit of a cowboy aspect there because, like, they're very much present, but they're not as popular in media as they were previously. And that's because this line touches on the Centipede arcade game, as I said. A game that just isn't getting updated. So, it's a game that it feels left behind. In comparison to something like Mario or Monster Hunter, yeah, absolutely. Also, did you know that the Centipede game was actually fairly popular with females around the time of its release? I found that out while researching for this, honestly. It was pretty interesting. Though that plays very well into the duality of these designs. Centilite is inspired by a game that was seemingly left in the past, whereas Bruntame is a game that's very much present, it's in the moment, it's currently updated. Bluehemoth is a more traditional pseudo, fitting right alongside the more intimidating ones like Salamence or Tyranitar, whereas Centilite is much more uncommon. It's an unconventional pseudo, like Metagross. One represents nature, the other the creation of man, a ship. One bulky and compact, the other sleek and slender. They are perfect opposites, just like what I wanted. While I would have loved for Centilite to be a steel psychic type, that can't happen, so. Anyway, this is Jay, signing away, forever and always. Bye-bye.